2 races remain in the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season right here on JRTV, and the penultimate race of the season heads to the Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina for the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. This is a very unique and interesting 1-mile oval here in the heart of North Carolina, and we'll have to see which of these 42 drivers here today can master it, and if Tim Gary, who starts in 4th place here today, can lock up the championship one race early and head to Atlanta worry-free in terms of the championship. I'm Joe Rakowski here to bring you the coverage of the 2004 Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 from the Rockingham Speedway. Always a fun race to watch here at the Rockingham Speedway, a track where driver skill definitely rises above maybe the car level the driver is in, and as well as a lot of tire fall off over the course of a full fuel run of over 40 laps. It's going to be a fun race to watch here today for sure. It's going to be fun to see which of these drivers can pick up the momentum to try and end this 2004 season on the right foot. And as you look at the front of the field, you notice a trend on the inside row, and that's Richard Childress Racing. 3 cars on the inside, starting inside the top 5. Sebastian Kukulan on a hot streak of races over these last few, starts on pole here today. He's finished inside the top 10 in 7 of the last 9 races this season. He's jumped his way up inside the top 5 in points and is nearing in on that battle for 3rd in points between Mathis Wells and Justin Atkins. So watch for Kukulan here today. If he gets a good start, leads lap early on, he could get a good finishing result, maybe even a race victory, and who knows, he could be the one in 3rd position in points at the end of the day. Conrad Evans in 3rd place, another one of those RCR cars, looking to try and break his way back up inside the top 10 in points, and he's no stranger to success here at the Rockingham Speedway. Won this race back in 2000. The problem is that's his only top 10 in his career here at the Rockingham Speedway. He'll look to change that here today. And then Justin Atkins, starting in 5th place, currently holds 4th in the point standings. 7 starts. His best finish here is 13th. Let's see if he can best that here today and try and gain points on Mathis Wells for that 3rd position in the championship. And speaking of the championship, it's not all that close right now between Tim Gary and Luke Rainey. Tim has had an insane stretch over the last few races of finishing inside the top 5. However, most of those have come at 1.5-mile ovals. Now we're here at a different oval, just over 1 mile in length. We'll have to see if Tim Gary's speed can kind of bring over and equate to what we've seen over the last few races at tracks like Kansas or Lowe's or Homestead, those 1.5-mile ovals. The good news for Tim is that if he doesn't lock up the championship here today, the finale next week is at a 1.5-mile oval in Atlanta. So Tim has a good shot, if not performing all that well today, to perform very well like he has the last few races at the Atlanta Motor Speedway next week to end out the season. But for Tim, he starts in 4th place here today. Very solid starting spot. He's on the outside, so he'll have to find his way down in line very, very quickly. The good news for him is that Luke Rainey, his championship rival, starts just in front of him in the 2nd position, also on the outside. So for Tim and Luke, the 2 drivers fighting for this championship, they're both starting on the outside, and for Luke, he desperately needs to find a way down in line before Tim Gary can. Otherwise, if Tim passes him, it could be hard for Luke to even catch back up and pass him back. And with the points entering this race, 149 points between the front 2, Tim Gary over Luke Rainey. If Tim leaves this race 164 points or more up on Luke Rainey, he'll win the championship, barring any inspection failures after the race, after either this one or Atlanta, if he happens to finish inside the top 3 in both of them. So once again, 164 points or more after this race, Tim Gary can lock up the championship. That's as few as 3 positions. That's as many as 5 positions. So we'll have to see if Tim finishes, 3 to 5 positions or more in front of Luke Rainey here today. He could be the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion. We'll just have to see where these guys kind of fall to mid-race, and we'll have to see how it all plays out there. And unfortunately for a few drivers, they'll be starting at the back of the field here today after inspection failures. 3 of them are back there. 1 of them failed inspection and fell out of the race because of it. Mathis Wells has been on a nightmare stretch of races. He just can't find his footing, can't find the consistency. For the 2nd time in the last few races, he's failed inspection. He'll be starting back in 40th place today in that number 20. That's big for him while he's not in this championship fight between Tim Gary and Luke Rainey. He's in a fight of his own, trying to keep 3rd position in points from Justin Atkins and Sebastian Kukulan, even Eli Bright, that are coming behind him. So for Mathis, he needs to desperately find a way to get up further forward from his starting spot all the way at the back of the field. He knows how to win here, won this race back in 2002 when he went on to win the championship. However, it's going to be very hard to do that from his starting spot. Lathan Strickland, the 48 car, won here earlier in the season, was looking for the Rockingham sweep. Unfortunately for him, he'll be starting at the back as well. He starts in 41st here today. He's been very good at Rockingham, top 5 in 4 of the last 5 races here. We'll have to see if he can try to find a way through the field to keep that streak alive. And then all the way at the back, the man fastest in practice, Jude Martinelli. He starts all the way back in 42nd. We'll have to see if he can find a way up and get by some of these guys to get a decent finishing result. So 3 drivers at the back of the field, and we'll see how they can try and fight their way through after failing post-qualifying inspection. We'll take a look at the track facts for the Rockingham Speedway. Beautiful day for racing. Beautiful October day here in North Carolina. This racetrack is just over a mile in length, as mentioned, 1.017 miles. That's just over 1.6 kilometers in length. 79 lap race. That's just about 80.3 miles. The fuel window, something to watch out for, 43 to 47 laps. But the tire wear is so extreme here. The undercut is very, very powerful if you can pull it off without any cautions coming out in the middle of green flag pit cycles. Different banking here from corner to corner. 22 degrees in turns 1 and 2, and 25 degrees over in turns 3 and 4. 8 degrees of banking on the straights. This is a very unique racetrack, as mentioned. Corners are all different. Banking's different. Straightaways are very interesting. So there's a lot to look forward to here at the Rockingham Speedway. As now the 8 drivers that did not make the show here today, they are Henry Guo in the 0, Skylar Taylor in the 09, John Barrymore in the 14, Nathan Orman in the 41, Nathan Stapleton in the 42, Marcus Lerb in the 50, Joe Staubs in the 51, and Angel Gutierrez in car number 70. Those are the 8 drivers that have missed the race here today at the Rockingham Speedway. But it's about time to get going. Gun trackside, fire the cars up for the 31st race of the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season.
Drivers, start your engines.
Car 9, Craig, when you're ready. Fired up when you're ready. Fired up, fired up. Copy, Joe.
There roll off the 42 cars to do battle here in Rockingham, North Carolina. Quickly go to the audience pick. Don't have to go far to find him, though. It's the man starting in second place, and the man second at points, Luke Rainey, the 88. He desperately needs this win here today to keep himself in the championship fight. 35% of our people, of our audience, think he can be the one to do it here today at Rockingham. And we're going to go a few rows back, also on the outside, but it's his teammate, Riley Spurgeon in the 28. So strong as of late this season. Top 10s in 6 of the last 8 races. And oh, by the way, he's finished inside the top 5 in his last 4 starts here at Rockingham. He'll have to come from 8th place to try and win this race here today. The pace car is in, RCR on the inside, and the 2 drivers fight for the championship on the outside. Kukulan will lead us to the green with Luke Rainey to his right. The green flag is waving over the Rockingham Speedway. Three wide already, and it was Tim Gary putting Luke Rainey up top. Gary went through the middle himself to pass Luke. At the front, RCR clears and leads 1-2-3, with Kukulan leading the first lap from pole position, and Luke is still 3 wide as Jay Randall gets to his inside. Here comes teammate Riley Spurgeon to the inside as well. Tim Gary doing everything he needs to do on that start to get a gap between himself and Luke Rainey. He's going to pull away big time, but now Tim misses turns 3 and 4. He climbs the banking. Here comes Anthony Hernandez to his inside. And what a run for Hernandez in qualifying. He didn't make a single lap in practice because of issues, but here today he qualified 11th, and now he's racing up inside the top 10, going for 6th on Tim Gary off turn 2 and up the back straightaway. Meanwhile, further forward, Atkins has passed Evans, is looking to pass his other teammate Kukulan into turns 3 and 4. All over the bumper, that 29. These two could be fighting for 3rd in the point standings at the season's end. And Atkins is all over Kukulan. He'll move low into turn 1. Here comes the number 3 for the lead on lap number 4. And Atkins will take it off turn 2. New leader here at Rockingham. Justin Atkins now leads the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. And he might bring Evans, his other teammate, with him to the inside. 31 will grab 2nd away from the 29 car off turn number 4. And we'll see if Kukulan can slot in 3rd place in front of Richardson, who's now 4th. Collins up to 5th. They have Hernandez 6th, Miller 7th. Jericho's up to 8th, battle for 9th. Tim Gary wants to try and get low here. Jay Rendell looking to his inside, but I think Gary got the run. He'll get in line inside the top 10. Crucial because Luke Rainey is still up top and dropping back by Max Davis. You see Eli Brett to his inside. Eli started all the way back at 25th, and Luke started second here today. So Luke is struggling on the outside, can't find a hole down in line. There's cars everywhere, maybe in front of this 59 of Tegan Fox, a car that's not going to be up to pace as much. Jordan Stout, though, is there, so he's going to go middle for now. Try and get the run through the middle and maybe get clear that 59. Max Davis up the track, almost into the wall. Luke is all but clear of Fox into turn one. He'll have to try and fight another lap on that outside. Hope the 59 messes up down there. That was a pretty decent exit for Luke up the back straightaway. I think he's going to have that spot. Yes, he'll get down in front of Tegan Fox, but he's well back of Tim Gary. As it stands right now, the 10 would leave this race as the champion. But still lots of racing left to go, and Jay Reynolds trying to fight back to the inside of Tim Gary. He's climbed to 8th, getting by Jacob Miller and following Chris Jericho through on the inside. The front is kind of tightening up for about 2nd, 3rd, 4th as Richardson closing on the 2 RCR cars in front. Keegan Thompson, very poor qualifying results, but racing well here today, jumping up to 11th place again by Jacob Miller. Ryan Wilson coming low as well, along with Matthew Burnett and Evan Hunter. Evan Hunter won just a few races ago at the Kansas Speedway. Pretty fast car there at the end of that race. And now Luke Rainey's gotten a spot already from Eli Bright, so we know that car pretty fast. He's back up now to 19th, with 18th and 17th. Stout and Zidell just in front of him. See if he can try and make one of these passes work here. Stout has a run onto Zidell, but Luke has a run onto Stout as well. 88 car looks better than the 2 cars in front for sure. Evan Hunter again by Jacob Miller. That'll be for 15th up the back straightaway. Update on some of the drivers that started at the back because of inspection. Mathis Wells getting by Lathan Strickland and Jude Martinelli there as well. So all 3 kind of hanging together right around the 25th place. I think they're now 26th for Wells. Yeah, Martinelli's 28th and Strickland's going to be back in 30th. So they're making decent progress up through the middle of the field right now. With more cars up the road like Tegan Fox they can try and pass. Amon Wallet there. You can see Wells trying to get low. Martinelli had a good run. Couldn't make it work. At the back, Zachary DeLello struggling in that number 16 car. DeLello 3 straight top 10s the last 3 races. He's finished top 10 in his last 7 starts here at the Rockingham Speedway. Right now riding back at 40th place. Struggling in that number 16 car. There you can see him. DeLello trying to get by Fitzwater to move his way up to 39th. Tim Gary falling back on the outside the top 10 now, as it was Rando getting by him. Rando moving up to 7th, getting by Jericho as well. Belladonna's got by him. So is Keegan Thompson. Now Ryan Wilson. And now Matthew Burnett looking low. Riley Sprotube, Luke's teammate, not going to come any slack for sure. Then you have Evan Hunter there. Jacob Miller could try and fill the hole as well. So Tim Gary struggling right now. About 14 laps into this race. Evan Hunter's teammate and team owner down low, and obviously you can't just, roll out the gas so much that to let him in line. Just hope that Tim can do it himself. Hernandez shuffled out of line. He'll lose 6th place to Jay Brando. That 97 looking pretty fast right now. Tim got a good run off of 4. Think should clear Miller into turn 1. He will. So Tim minimizes the damage back to 15th now and in line. Luke's going to get a spot right here from Zidell to move closer to Tim Gary by a position. A little bit further forward near the top 10. Hernandez dropping. Here comes Burnett past Wilson. Now he's going to pass the 1 car, moving up inside the top 10 to 10th right here. So Matthew Burnett, strong running right now here at the Rockingham Speedway. This is the battle for 10th. His teammate Keegan Thompson just up the road. And you have Riley Sprotube coming. There's Luke Rainey again by Jacob Miller as well. So now only 1 car separates he and Tim Gary's championship rival. The problem is 149 points separate them as well. Back up further forward, the RCR cars have gotten away a little bit from the Roush car of Keyshawn Richardson. Atkins has kept about a half a second gap over his teammates. Evans holding off Kukulon for now. 29 and Richardson there as well. Those 4 have really gotten away from the rest of the pack. They have Collins in 5th. Jay Brando might be the fastest car in the racetrack at the moment. Brando is up to 6th place and gaining on Collins for 5th. In fact, 3 of the Roush cars look pretty fast right now, with Richardson up there inside the top 5 and 4th. Brando in 6th and Belladonna moving up in 8th place as well. Then you have 2 Hendrick cars moving forward with Thompson and Matthew Burnett both inside the top 10. Tim Gary moving by Anthony Hernandez. Now for 13th. Jordan Stout moving by as well. He'll get his way to 14th. And here comes Luke, trying to fill the hole to the inside to break his way back up inside the top 15. Remember, it's 88 car. Started in second place. Fell back on the initial start, got put 3 wide top by Tim Gary. But here's Luke moving back forward. A Stout looks to make the pass on Tim Gary. 1 spot further forward. And Jay Reynolds can make the pass on Collins for 5th place. 97 car is fast. Jay Randall, another one of these drivers that has Rockingham figured out, won this race, or won the spring race here in 2003. He's finished inside the top 3 in 3 of the last 4 Rockingham races. He has a knack for this place as of late. Chris Jericho shuffled high. He'll lose 7th to Belladonna, and now 8th to Keegan Thompson as well. Jericho back to 9th and maybe even 10th because Matthew Burnett has a run, but Jericho uses the middle lane to an effectiveness. The lead is tightening up a little bit. Evans has cut about 1/10 of a second out of the lead over the last 3 or 4 laps. So just a little bit faster than his teammate Atkins right now. Maybe saved his tires a little bit better. Here comes Belladonna. He's looking on Collins. 12 a little bit slower. He has a nice run there. That car rotated pretty well. See if he makes the pass here into turn 1. He's close enough to do it. There he goes. Jumping low. Belladonna for 6th. Roush cars look pretty good right now. Thompson's either got tight as Jordan Stout's making a pass on Tim Gary back there. Thompson got a little tight, but still kept it to the inside of Collins. Stout's going to pass the 10 car. In doing that, here comes Luke Rainey. Luke is now on the bumper of Tim Gary. As it stands right now, there should be about 3 points between them as they're running 14th and 15th. Those 3 points would not be enough for Tim Gary to clinch the championship. Evan Hunter up inside the top 10 now with a nice run. He'll get by Burnett Collins. They'll go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Jordan Stout being aggressive. He's going to get a 2-for-1 deal. And Tim Gary all over the place off turn 4. He has a run going on to Riley Spurgeon into turn 1. Chaos here around 12th place. Tim up to 12th. Luke for 13th. Following him through by teammate Riley Spurley. That was a crazy sequence of events right there. Cars were all over the place. So Tim and Luke clear together, but Luke has good momentum going into turn 1. I think it's not close enough. Oh, he's going to look to the inside. An aggressive move, but he has to be aggressive with Tim Gary here today. Luke Rainey will get by the 10 car, and he'll take 12th away. Tim might just have to slot in line because Luke's teammate Riley Spurgeon will not let him get in line easy. And there goes Riley to the inside. So Tim, if he doesn't get a run off 4 here, could cycle back a few more spots because Mitchell Collins is there as well. Collins not too far back. For Tim, he knows if he just keeps that 88 in his windshield, if he can see him, that Luke's not gaining enough points to really make Atlanta too nerving. Now, if Tim falls back to the 20s and Luke moves up inside the top 10, then it gets a little bit closer, maybe a little bit more nerving. But Tim with great momentum off the middle of 4. He'll clear Collins and keep that spot. So he'll only fall back to 14th while Luke is up in 12th going for 11th on Matthew Burnett. So the 88 car looks good now. He just had to get in line. Battle for 3rd. Evans had 2nd. Kukulon finally takes it. And Richardson takes 3rd as well. So Comrade Evans starting to fall back on this longer run. Something that he's kind of struggled with at Rockingham over his career. And that's part of the reason why he hasn't had a top 10 here since that victory all the way back in the fall of 2000. Here we are 4 years later, searching for that first top 10 since that win here at Rockingham. Another car that looks pretty decent on the long run is Evan Hunter. He's gotten up to 8th place here. He started back in 14th, kind of fell back, and maybe the fastest car in the long run is Jordan Stout. This 6 car looks, pun intended, stout right now. All over Jericho. Oh, I think he bumped Jericho into turn 1. A little bit of a bump and run here. Rockingham he said, "You're holding me up. I want 9th place," and that's going to allow Luke Rainey up to 10th here. So Luke Rainey, for the first time since early on in this race, he breaks his way back up inside the top 10. Crucial for the 88 to get these spots when he can, because pit stops are coming, and 88 crew, let's see how they can do on pit road. Jericho back to 11th, kind of struggling with that 18 right now in this longer run. Burnett and Spurley right there, 12th and 13th, and then Tim Gary in 14th has a gap back to Collins, Hernandez, and Amon Walid. See Zidell and Eli Bright closing together. That's for 18th and 19th. Ryan Wilson, Eli's teammate, right there in 20th. There's Martinelli coming from the back of the field. Just got by Crown Jr. That's 22nd, going for 21st. on Samet Osgood in the 81. Once again, maybe a bump. The other two cars that started at the back because of inspection, right behind Martinelli. Strickland's in 24th. Wells is in 25th, so they're having solid runs. DeLello moving up from when we last saw him, but still outside the top 30. Behind Drew Webb, Jerry Chen, and Max Davis. DeLello right now back in 33rd, going for 32nd on that 21 car. Sarah Kircher, while her three teammates started well, she started outside the top 35. She doesn't gain much ground, currently still outside the top 30. Jacob Miller started well, he's running poorly. Baby Rose won the last time out at Homestead, started inside the top 10. Has struggled with the handling on that number 7 here today, currently back in 37th. Colin Teague and the 40 of Benny Lynn well off the pace. Richardson up to second by Evans. So dismantling the RCR guys at the front for Keyshawn Richardson. 99 looks pretty good, and if he can stay this close enough, pit stops could be interesting. We're about 13 laps away from when we're expecting to see green flag pit stops start. And why that's important is that fall off right now, we're around 2.5 seconds. And it's going to keep going. By the end of this run, we could see up to 3 seconds of tire give up in a lap time. What that means is if, Evan Hunter, Keegan Thompson back 7th and 8th place, if they pit 1 lap earlier than everyone in front of them, they could easily jump all of them and get themselves to the race lead on just 1 lap. So watch for that as the battle for 6th heats up. Thompson all over Tyler Belladonna into turn 1. So 6th, 7th, and 8th. With Stout in 9th closing in as well. That 6th car looks very strong. And Luke Rainey not quite as strong, but still pulling away from the guys behind in 10th. Good battle right here. In fact, a lot of battling going on. Ahmed Wald gets to 15th. He got by Hernandez. Now he gets by Mitchell Collins. Hernandez and Zidell are in a fight. Eli Bright joining that as well. Jude Martinelli up inside the top 20 now in that 77 car. From all the way back in 42nd at the start. Here's Riley Spirito making a pass on Burnett. That's for 12th place. That can bring Tim Gary for 13th on that 25 car. Burnett gets in line though. At the front, the gap about 3/4 of a second and stabilizing there. And a great battle here. Thompson could make the pass on Belladonna and might lose him a position or two to Evan Hunter and Jordan Stout. Up the back straightaway, Hunter to the inside of Thompson in a battle for 7th. So Evan clears and takes it. And here comes Stout for 8th. I'll make it 4 of the Roush Racing cars inside the top 10. No one that's not all the way back for Zachary DeLello. And no surprise to see Roush running well at this racetrack because they've dominated here as of late. In fact, they had a string of races going where they just kept on winning and winning and winning until Lathan Strickland denied them a chance at victory earlier this season at Rockingham when he got to victory lane, that number 48 Frederick Motorsports. So we know those Roush cars, they have a good setup here at the Rockingham Speedway right now, showing it as 4 of their cars run 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 8th. And Jordan Stout, the man on the move in this long green flag run. But pit stops are looming as Tim Gary gets a spot right there and a few more points over Chris Jericho. That's 13th place. Further back, mess of cars as Martinelli's got by Zidell and Eli Bright. Now he's closing in on Hernandez off 4. Mathis Wells moving up just outside the top 20 as well. In fact, now he is inside the top 20 in that number 20 car. Martinelli going for 17th on the 1 car. So we know that 77 car is pretty good pace. In fact, probably the best pace of the Penske Jasper cars. No surprise because he was the fastest in practice. I don't think a top 15 is out of the cards for Jude Martinelli here today. I think if they have right pit strategy and a good pit stop, we could see that 77 car. I think he could get by his teammate Mitchell Collins before pit stops. There he goes. Already diving low. He was a pretty far ways back, but still made it work. That just shows the grip and the speed that 77 has. Still 4 cars within a second of each other for the race lead. She's right here. Jay Brando kind of fired off really well. I think maybe tore his tires up a little bit, now paying the price as we get right to pit stops as Evan Hunter messes up turns 1 and 2, gets a little loose on entrance, and Jordan Stout will move to 7th by Hunter. But still 4 drivers within a second of the race lead. That's very crucial because when pit stops start, any one of these 4 could undercut and gain a lot of time because of it. And Richardson slowly reeling in Atkins is back here. Evan Hunter is still struggling. Keegan Thompson looking to his inside. I think he's going to have, oh, the 5 is trying to dive it in but can't. It's Matthew Burnett back on Riley Sprue, but as they come off 2, the pit window is open. We'll see who makes the move in first. Might be Justin Atkins. The tires are just so worn out, they have to go so slow, and I think that was it. It looked like he was slowing down more than he had to. The tires are so far off the pace, that's what happens. Ahmed Wall gained a spot from Jericho. Here comes Collins in. Made a 4-wide scenario off turn number 4. So Mitchell Collins, who had been falling off, comes in early. Now they're 3 wide here. Into turns 1 and 2. Matthews Wells way up top. They're going to sort that out because Hunter Reed's going to get the spot on the inside. Now what do the leaders do? Here we go. We have mixed strategy. Here comes the 3 and the 31 in. 99 stays out. 29 stays out. Luke Rainey staying out. Tim Garrett's coming in early. So Atkins from the lead comes in first with teammate Evans. Most of the field in this time. The rest will be in next time. And those guys staying out just hoping they can get an advantage over the long run or get a lucky yellow here. But Atkins has a long way down to pit road for that number 5 pit stall. And here he comes in. You have Evans, his teammate, just in front of him. So how's the pit stop on the 3 car? There you can see Collins leaving. I think he lost some time on pit road there. Here's Tim Gary in. Crucial for a clean entrance and pit stop for that number 10. See lap cars leaving. Justin Atkins down and away. Conrad Evans down and away. Solid stop for the 3 bunch. Now what does Tim Gary's crew do? Can they hold serve on pit road? Nice pit stop and gone away. So he holds serve on pit road for Tim Gary. Now what does Richardson do? Kukulon is in. There are some guys that came in early where they're cycling out. So watch the 99 and the 29 here. Watch Luke Rainey as well. Remember, he came in a lap later. He could cycle out around Tim Gary here. You see Atkins already down and away. That 1 lap, how much it gained him. Luke Rainey down and away. He might lose a little bit of time, and Tim Gary's going to pass him. So Tim with the undercut gets ahead of Luke Rainey on pit road. And Luke is far ways back. That is big, because if Luke can't gain those spots back, championship over. So as it cycles out, Justin Atkins has a 2.5 second gap because of when he pitted over teammate Conrad Evans. Tim Gary in his cycle through is up to 12th place. So he didn't really gain much, but Luke Rainey lost a lot because of when he came down pit road. And I don't think the 88 crew had a very solid stop as well. Laura Chung, she came in way early. She's jumped all the way up inside the top 10 now. Again by Jordan Stout for that spot. So it cycled through to Atkins in the lead. And a huge gap, about half the straightaway, back to Conrad Evans in 2nd place. Then 3rd is Jay Brando. Belladon is 4th. Richardson 5th. Sprotube up to 6th with his strategy. Burnett now 7th. Kukulon 8th. Evan Hunter 9th. And Lord Chung in 10th. Jordan Stout's in 11th. Tim Gary right now in position for the championship in 12th. Jericho in 13th. Nathan Bear with his strategies up to 14th. Keegan Thompson now 15th. And you have Mitchell Collins in 16th. David Dixon is up to 17th. Hunter Reed 18th. 19th for Ahmed Wald. Nathan Strickland is now 20th. Martinelli 21st. Hernandez 22nd. 23rd Crown Jr. 24th Zidell. Luke Rainey all the way back to 25th. Well, this is a disaster for the 88 crew. Not only did they have a bad strategy and a not so great pit stop, but they came out in a position where they got put to the outside immediately. And he just kept dropping because of the new tires. The inside's so dominant, he couldn't hold his ground on the outside. He dropped all the way down to 25th. He was running 10th when they came down pit road, a loss of 15 spots for the 88 crew. And Tim Gary's up in 12th. That's 13 spots. And as they run, Tim Gary is the champion easily. Luke needs something. It's going to be hard for something to go right for it to work out for him. Stuck back in 25th. Could get to 24th here on Zidell's. A nice run going. Couldn't get to the inside. Didn't have enough of a run. Meanwhile, at the front, Atkins is starting to pull away. It was 2.5 seconds. Now it's up to 3 seconds over his teammate Conrad Evans. The 3 car's just been superb here today since he got to the lead early on. It was way early on when he got to the lead as well. He has not looked back. Still pulling away. Good run for David Dixon. Good strategies putting him up to 17th place. Dixon was not set to make the race after qualifying, but when Nathan Stapleton failed inspection, it dropped him out. and put David Dixon into the race. And so far, the 39 driver making the most of it, currently up inside the top 20 in 17th place. Hunter Reed trying to get that spot as well. See if Mitchell Collins can do better in the long run this time. As up here, Tim Gary's closed in on the battle for 10th. Jordan Stout on better tires than Laura Chung, trying to take that 10th spot back, and Tim Gary all over them as they come off turn number 4. Stout and Gary both have runs. Neither can make a move on Laura Chung. Jericho watching on for 13th place as well. 6th place could be a battle. Burnett's gotten by Spraytube with the 28. Keep in touch. Kukul on a little bit better tires, trying to get by both. As the gap at the front continues to grow. Richardson's gotten through to 3rd. He's gotten by teammate Jay Rando. Rando could fall into the clutches of his other teammate, Tyler Belladonna. Kukul moving by Bradley Spraytube. That's the battle for 7th. And no contest. 29 gets it. Remember the 29 on a little bit better tires. Here's Richardson. He needs to get by Evans immediately. 99 car looks better than the 3 car at this stage in the race. The problem is time is running out for him to mount a charge. He needs to get by the 31 fast. Could do it right here into 3. There he goes, looking low. Already to the inside, already going to get by. Back there, Kukulon getting by Burnett as well. So one RCR car starting to fall off. Another one on a little bit better tires is gaining. So Kukulon has 3.5 seconds to make up over the course of 22 laps here at the Rockingham Speedway. We'll see if he can do it. Atkins doesn't really have traffic. He has Max Davis ahead. Davis has fallen back to 42nd on pit stops, and this is just killing this 21 team. They have good cars, and then they lose at some point in the race, and here he is now. You know, he was going to gain points in the 0-0 to try and get up inside the top 35 in owners' points, and as it stands right now, he's losing points. It's just how it's been going for the 21 team this season. Luke has not made much progress. He got by Zidell, he's 24th, but he's still 12 spots behind Tim Gary as they run. There's Atkins, 3.46 up on Richardson. This time by, it's down to 3.29. So Richardson is closing in, but he needs more than that for him to have a shot. Stout's finally gotten back to 10th. Got by Chung, who's fallen back to 13th. Gary's up to 11th, and Jericho's up to 12th. Where is Luke Rainey? He's right behind this big mess of cars. That's a lot of positions and points he can gain. You know, David Dixon, Ahmed Wallet, Lathan Strickland on the outside. 3 wide now off 4. Wallet is way high, slams the wall. Luke came close to hitting him, but I think he knows he can't lift, right? He saw the 91, he said, I have to stay in the gas here so I can keep my momentum going and get more spots. So dangerous for Luke Rainey right there, but it got him 2 spots. He got by Wald, and he's going to get by Strickland as well. Needs every spot he can get. Right now, 22nd, and Tim Gary's 11 spots up the road in 11th place. 3 seconds between the front 2. It's still coming down, but there's not much time left for Richardson to keep it going. See, Luke, that's going to be another spot on Hunter Reed. That's 21st place. So the 88 car, like we saw last run, starting to come in on the longer run when the tires get some wear on them. Problem is, he's a good ways back. What he really needs is for someone, Jericho's actually got by him. So I was going to say he needs someone like Jericho to get by Tim Gary. Jericho has, so put Tim Gary back to 12th. He needs Thompson to do that as well. I think Keegan's the only one here that can pass the 10 car unless the 10 has big issues. Jay Rendell's fallen back to 5th. Tyler Belladonna, his teammates, got by him and started to pull away. See Evans there in 3rd trying to hold on. Kukulon trying to close in for the top 5. Thompson's got by Laura Chung, so his next sights will be on Tim Gary. Oh, Luke had Hunter Reed passed, and now he's back to the outside. Oh, they're 3 wide in front of him. David Dixon, Jude Martinelli, Roberto Crown Jr. being aggressive. And now Luke's stuck behind the 39 of David Dixon, so Luke had been gaining spots, and now he's going to lose all of them that he gained and maybe even more. This has been a disaster for Luke Rainey. It's going to keep going. Mathis Wells got to his inside. Ahmed Wald's going to get back by him. So remember where Luke cycled in line was 25th? He's now back in 25th. So he gained up to 21st? Not anymore. If he's not careful, Zidell's going to jump low here, and he is. He's going to lose even more. 26th, 27th. Luke Rainey is tumbling down the running order. Tim Gary's maintaining in 12th place. As it stands, Tim Gary would lock up the championship one race early. Luke all over Dixon. Can't get low, and here comes Eli Bright. The 88 is still falling down the positions. Oh, this is just not good. This has been the 88 team as of late. They make a pit stop, they're in a good position, and they lose it all. I don't know if they can't adjust their car to run better in the second half of the race, but they just, as of late, the 10 car hasn't run well in the first half of the race. They make a pit stop to make the 10 better, and it helps them, and the 88 car can do nothing. Remember, Luke started this race in second place. Sarah Kirchner started outside the top 35, and the 33 is in front. Luke's back in 28th. Tim Gary's in 12th. He might lose that 12th spot to Keegan Thompson, but he doesn't have to fight Keegan right now. He could just let him go. Oh, Jay Brando is a man struggling. Kukulon's got by him for 5th, and he's slow enough that I think Burnett, Hunter, and Spurgeon could really close in here. We have 10 laps to go here at the Rockingham Speedway. Atkins in control by 2.7 seconds over Keyshawn Richardson. This is big for Atkins because he enters 4th in points, not that far behind Mathis Wells. Right now, Mathis from starting at the back is stuck back in 22nd place. So this is big for him. Atkins could leave this race top 3 in the points. 9 laps to go. The gap is staying constant at the front. There's about 10th place. Jericho looked like he was kind of one of the ones struggling in the long run on the first run, but they've made some good adjustments on the 18, and Jordan Stout, who's one of the fastest cars in the long run, has now lost a spot. So Jericho up inside the top 10. Stout back to 11th. Gap still coming down slightly at the front, but it's not enough. Great battle for 3rd shaping up. Tyler Belladonna trying to get by Conrad Evans. With Evans' teammate Kukulon also closing in a little bit better tires. 7 laps to go at the line. The gap between the front 2 stabilizes that lap. Belladonna's a nice run. He'll dive low into turn 1. What he did there, he went a little bit higher, arced better. He had a better arc into turn 1. Evans played more defensive, and the 31 could not block that off. So Belladonna up to 3rd place. The problem for him, it might be short-lived because that 29 car is coming on tires. And Kukulon a little bit better tires, just by a lap or 2, but see how much it's really, really playing into it. 6 laps to go. Jay Brando is now going to be in a fight for 6th with Burnett, Evan Hunter, Riley Spurley-Tube. Here comes Kukulon for 3rd. Belladonna can't defend it. And RCR takes up 2 of the top 3 positions now. 5 laps to go. 2.2 separates Atkins from Richardson. If Kukulon can keep Belladonna up top, Evans could get back by him here. Oh, it's close off 2. See if Evans has the nose. I don't think he does. He didn't have great momentum. So he'll fall back in line. But back up at the front, Atkins has lapped Max Davis. As Tegan Fox and Colin Teague up the road. 4 laps to go. Tim Gary in 12th place as they run. Luke Rainey all the way back in 28th. And a struggle. See, Atkins, he's in traffic here, so he has to be careful. Can't get too greedy. He has over 2 seconds to play with. And only 3 laps to go. Once again, it's down to 2.1. That 3 car is just coasting here, trying to get by lap traffic in as clean of a manner as he can. Meanwhile, the battle for 6th. Randall holding off Burnett for now. Evan Hunter will lose a 9th spot to Chris Jericho. The 18 car coming alive. Riley Spurgeon also got by the 36. 2 laps to go for Justin Atkins. 2 seconds is the margin. Close battle for 6th. Matthew Burnett trying to get by Jay Brando. That would be 6th, 7th, 8th, with Riley Spurgeon there as well. Tim Gary still in 12th. Luke Rainey up to 27th, but 15 positions behind. Here's the white flag for Justin Atkins. 1 mile to go at Rockingham and 2 seconds to play with. He's behind Colin Teague, but doesn't have to lap him. Oh, they're wrecking! They're wrecking into turn 3! Zidell is one of them. Oskin is there. Atkins has to slow and be careful. They've crashed in front of him. There's cars all around. Atkins makes it through, and checkered flag is his at Rockingham. Oh, that was... We have cars in the grass. Cars everywhere to take the checkered flag. The caution flag out in the last lap. Luckily for Justin Atkins, it didn't matter. The 3-car wins this race. But it could have mattered if things, if cars were sitting there in the middle of the track. Atkins had to be careful there. Justin Atkins wins the 2002 Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 from the Rockingham Speedway. That 3-car was just so stout here today, and I really don't know what could have happened there off turn 2 and up the back straightaway into turn 3. I mean, I think the 88 might have gotten some damage in that. Luke Rainey. See, he's kind of falling behind some guys. The field coming down pit road, and everyone getting to their pit stalls after a wild ending to the race here at Rockingham. Justin Atkins' heart rate went up a little bit more than it probably should have there to end the race with how dominant his car was, and ended up having to be a little bit more cautious there into turns 3 and 4 on the last lap as the field comes down pit road to get into their pit stalls. Let's take a look at the finishing results from the 2004 Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. As mentioned, Justin Atkins with the win here today at the Rockingham Speedway. It's big in his quest to finish inside the top 3 in points at season's end. Keyshawn Richardson cut down to within a second because of all the carnage that happened on the last lap. Richardson ends up in second here today. Third to Sebastian Kukulan. Tyler Belladonna fourth, and Conrad Evans top 5. So it was the Richard Childress Racing and Roush Racing show here today. RCR with a first, third, and fifth. Roush with a second and a fourth here today. Matthew Burnett gets the highest position for Hendrick Motorsports here today, 6th place. Ryan Spurtube 7th. Jay Brindle fell to 8th at the end. Jericho tried to get that position, but he ends up in 9th, and Evan Hunter with the top 10. Tim Gary ends up in 12th place, and with Luke Rainey ending up at 29th, Tim Gary is going to be, as long as he doesn't fail inspection after Atlanta, if he finishes inside the top 3, Tim Gary's locked up the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Championship. He gets 127 points here today. Luke gets 76. That's a gain of around 50. You only need to gain 15 to leave this race as the champion. So Tim Gary, big points gap now. It's up around 200. And Tim Gary, as long as he, even if he fails inspection, he needs Luke to get a max points day at Atlanta. So Luke Rainey not going to be able to win the 2004 championship here this season. Tim Gary has it after a 12th place finish here at the Rockingham Speedway. See Hernandez and Ryan Wilson there. Jude Martinelli came from the back of the field, gets a top 20. Eli Bright kind of struggled for most of the race. Probably the highest he was 21st there at the end. 2 more cars that failed inspection, 22nd, 23rd. And as we mentioned, Luke Rainey 29th, possibly involved in that last lap conundrum up the back straightaway. A lot of cars finished a lap down. 31 were on the lead lap. Rue was the last of them. Max Davis down here actually gets by Perry McShane to gain some points, and he'll try and go into Atlanta to get by. Zidell out of the race, obviously, from crash damage, and Smet Oskin, damaged as well in the 81 car, drops him out. So that's how they finished here at Rockingham. And now we take a look at the points. With just 1 race to go, Tim Gary has a big enough points gap. He can't be caught. Tim Gary is going to be the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion after what has been such a consistent season, and really as of late, a season where the 88 and the 20 have done nothing but shoot themselves in the foot. The 20 car, whether it be from getting involved in that crash at Talladega or failing inspection. Luke Rainey's team, they've been strong this season, but as of late, they've not been able to put together the second half of the race, and Tim Gary's team has, and that's been the difference. That's why Tim is sitting there with such a big points gap, and Luke can do nothing but just watch on and try and hold that second position in points. Well, next time out, the final 2004 Nextel Cup Series race, we go racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Golden Corral 500. And no championship to worry about for Tim Garrett or Luke Rainey. They can go all for it, all for the race victory. We'll have to see how aggressive everyone is next time out on JRTV. The final race of the 2004 season, we'll see who leaves as victor at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But today it's all about Justin Atkins. He gets victory here at the Rockingham Speedway. Congratulations to he and the 3 crew, and congratulations to Tim Gary's team on locking up the championship one race early. We'll see you guys on JRTV next Sunday from the Atlanta Motor Speedway.